Welcome to the COMC High School Football Coaches Show, presented by the great folks at Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. Also brought to you by Surdike Yamaha, MoDOT, Buckle Up, Phones Down, Hedges Scott Millard Funeral Homes, and Slumberland Furniture. Slumberland at the Lake. What an incredible week we've got coming up here. The first week of the playoffs. Friday night, we've got the Osage Indians at home against Fort Zumwalt South. And again, it's the first week of the playoffs. That's your team headed into the playoffs, Coach. Are you pretty fired up about it?
Yeah, just to kind of be, we don't call it the playoffs here, Chris.
Okay, what do we call it?
We call it a play-in game.
Oh, a play, the first week is a play-in.
Everybody gets to play.
Okay.
On week 10.
Right.
So not to be, difficult, but we just kind of, when you win week 10, then we kind of get into that that next step. But no, we're excited. We were proud to be able to host a game here, week 10. We haven't done that for a while, so to be here and to be in the top 4 in your district is a privilege. So, but tough for Zumwalt South team coming in, but should be a great night for football here at Osage.
Absolutely. So you finished the regular season 7-2. One of the best years for Osage football in a long, long time, ranked in the top 10 for the last several weeks. You've obviously got a really good team, something special here. You're in an unbelievably difficult district, a couple of undefeated teams. I think half of the district is in the top 10, ranked in the top 10 somewhere, including yourself. But this kind of a season doesn't come along every year. How special is it when you put together a year like this?
Well, I mean, it's special, but, the plan is for this type of season to come along every year.
Right.
We're trying to put the foundational pieces in, and I just think that's something that I believe in and always have, and I learned from a lot of great guys. You lead from the bottom up, and what that means is making sure you're taking care of everything from the youth programs to the middle school, and then putting yourself in situation, because there are schools where this season is expected each year.
Yeah. And
we want to make sure that School of the Osage is a football program that has those expectations each year. I mean, I've already told our kids, we're having a good year, but our expectations are to be better next year and the year following. So just making sure that the expectations are clear. This is what we expect out of our football program.
And it doesn't just happen. It just doesn't come along that you are a winning team every year. You've got to put a system in place where kids are playing football from a younger age, learning how to play the game, learning how to play hard and tough. And you've started to put that together here in the Osage area.
Yeah, there's you take our high school staff, there's probably 30 guys in our community and our coaching staff that are coaching football for us.
Wow.
From the 4th grade up and those things. And, having those guys, the cool part now for me is we've got guys coaching those youth programs that played for me. So they have a good idea of at least the direction. My direction is not the best. It's just mine. I mean, I don't know. You need to be passionate about what you want in place, the fundamentals and things like that. So let's be clear. But those guys at least have an advantage because they've played for me and they understand the expectations of what we want. But it's been awesome.
No doubt about it. Okay, so last week you go to an undefeated St. Francis Borgia team. You lose that game, but you scheduled that game on purpose. You scheduled a really hard game last week of the regular season, knowing you could either win it and go into the playoffs with momentum or lose it and maybe come out of it with a few lessons. Is there something you can gain from that game Friday night going into the postseason?
Yeah, and unfortunately for us, it's more on the negative side. There's a lot of film to look at of things that we just didn't do very well. And I wouldn't take anything away from Borgia and how they played, but we took a lot more on the negative side, the things that we had to fix. And for us, thankfully, it was more mentally and some discipline issues that hopefully we can take up this week.
Absolutely. Well, that's a good deal. All right, so we'll talk about that play-in game on Friday night right here on Lake TV. You can see it pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7 as they take on Fort Zumwalt South. We'll talk about Zumwalt South when we come back here on the COMC High School Football Coaches Show.
During this chapter of life, we are really taking the time to enjoy the little things.
So it was important to have our final wishes pre-planned so our family wouldn't be burdened later on.
Hedges Scott Millard made it simple, but thorough. They provided us with different options right here in the comfort of our home.
We are so glad that we planned ahead. Now a whole lot more of this, a little of this, all with the peace of mind we wanted.
At Hedges Scott Millard, we believe that every day is a gift, and so is every life. Take time to enjoy it.
At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center offers pediatrics at 2 lake locations and 3 OBGYNs at the Osage Beach Clinic, offering same-day appointments. At COMC, our doors are open to everyone, whether you live at the lake or just here visiting. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. Welcome back to the COMC High School Football Coaches Show. We're here at Osage, home of the Indians. Finished the regular season 7-2, ranked in the top 10. A really, really good team. Coach Shannon Jolley at home this week, this Friday night on Lake TV, against a Fort Zumwalt South team. Have you ever played Fort Zumwalt South?
No, and this district is, if you look at it on the geographic part for Misha, it's really spread out. It's kind of unique. So, but again, it's a unique challenge for us. And sometimes the unknown of your opponent makes you prepare a little bit more and be a little bit more deliberate about that. So we're excited.
Yeah, and this Fort Zumwalt South team comes in underneath you guys in the district standings, obviously, because you get to host the game. But they had a pretty good year too. I think they started out 5-1, lost their last 3. They ran into 3 really good teams at the end of the year. But this team can win. Yeah,
I think every team in our district can win this Friday night. So we kind of put that outside of it and prepare. Obviously, they've got really good athletes. They got some explosive players. But it should be a good matchup. I mean, the 4-5 seeds are always, that's what it's supposed to be like. So, if we wanted to play a lesser seed, then we would have needed to win on Friday night, and here we are.
Sometimes in football, it doesn't come down to just the X's and O's. I mean, those are important. Doing the right things, playing the right way, and even talent is pretty important. But in football, sometimes it just comes down to toughness, right? Do you ever get into the games where you can't just win it on talent or X's and O's, you just got to be tough?
It's just such a combination of all those things. You and I were talking about the NFL, whether it be the Dallas Cowboys or the teams that, it should look like on paper that everything should work out. Mm-hmm. And very rarely does it work out like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the cool part about looking at this game, especially in high school football. How many kids do you have within your team that have that burning passion to win and to compete and to fight? And that's what we're working on. And then the people that just say, well, it's just a game and it's just football, we try to communicate to our kids, it's not just that. When you go into a job interview or you're trying to get a scholarship, it's a competition, and football is just another platform for us. So it's super important to have those type of guys on your team.
Absolutely. Okay, so back to the matchup on Friday night against, I think they're the Bulldogs, Fort Zumwalt South. What would you like to see your offense do Friday night?
We have to be super aggressive in the red zone. Coach Bromstark brought up a great point. We haven't been in the red zone a lot. We've had big plays that have got us into the end zone, but we haven't spent a lot of time in the red zone. And we just have to be super physical and aggressive and really just stay on our blocks and maintain and execute.
Okay, and then what do they like to do on offense that you need your defense to be ready for?
Well, they've got a deep threat, a really good receiver, as more of the talented receivers we've seen all year. But it's just about they have a little bit of a size advantage against us, and their quarterback does a really good job. He's super athletic, and I mean it's week 10 and you're playing a bigger school, and it's about matching up and having the discipline to do things. But Coach Hess and those guys have done an amazing job this year. I don't have any doubt that we'll be sound defensively.
Yeah. Postseason, Friday night, is there a special feel to that when you come to the football field that night?
Yeah, it's a special feel all week, is the feel that you don't want to check your stuff in.
Yeah.
That's the special feel. Coming Friday night about 10 o'clock, 50% of the teams across the state will have their equipment checked in.
That's right.
And it's a crappy feeling.
Season's over.
And I'm not looking towards any part of that this Friday night.
All right. Be sure to catch the game here on Lake TV Friday night as Osage takes on Fort Zumwalt South. Coming up next, we'll head across town, talk with Camdenton coach Par Pitts as they get ready for their first playoff game.
Hey everybody, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. We're in the middle of our mega sale. What's that mean? It means great discounts for every room of the house, and we have 0% 24-month financing. So you get the discounts plus 0% financing. Don't forget, we deliver the entire lake area. So come see us at Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
Those Osage Indians are flying high heading into the playoffs at 7-2, with Fort Zumwalt South coming to town for the opening round this Friday.
Here goes A-Train, inside the 10, to the house.
Catch all the action on Lake TV, starting with a COMC pregame show at 6:30. Can Jason Colonius and the Williams brothers will the Indians to the next round?
Tries to get out, and Colonius blows that up for a big loss.
Find out this Friday with Osage Indians football live on Lake TV, presented by Polylift Boat Lifts.
Being close to the water makes you more you. It's where the great unknown brings clarity. And letting go is how you really get going. Because only when you're on a Yamaha Wave Runner do you truly discover what you're made of.
Visit Surdyke Yamaha at Lake of the Ozarks, 50 years strong.
Welcome back to the COMC High School Football Coaches Show. We are here at Camdenton, home of the Lakers, as Coach Parr Pitts and the Purple People Eaters. I don't know, what do we call you guys? I know it's the Jaws of Death. The Vikings used to call themselves the Purple People Eaters.
Right, Purple Haze.
The Purple Haze. There you go.
Yep.
The Purple Haze get ready for postseason play-in game, and this is a good matchup. I mean, you've got Rolla in the first round. We'll talk more about that. Looking back to last Friday night, you guys win a big blowout game against a team out of Kansas City Southeast, 70-0, and it could have been worse.
Yeah, it was a good night for the Lakers for sure. We got lots of opportunities for guys that play on their senior night and go out there and make some plays, and I was sort of inspired by the way the Southeast guys played, because they just kept coming, and regardless of the score, they just kept going at it, and they only had 17 guys, so they played a ton that night, and so it was a good night for the Lakers for sure.
Yeah. So a game like that, what are the positives that come out for you guys? I mean, is it a morale booster? Is it a good tune-up for going into the playoffs next week? A game like that, is there good that comes out of that?
For sure. If you can come away with a win like that, you can be fresh. Hopefully if you had some bumps and bruises that you were healing up, you can get fresh from those, and get an opportunity for some guys to play that maybe haven't got to play as much, and see what they can do. All those are positives for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned senior night. There's a lot of different kind of nights during the football season. You got homecoming and stuff like that. Senior night, where all the kids that have been around all the years, and they're seniors now, where you get to kind of give them the focus, give them the spotlight.
Yeah, seniors are the leaders of your football team, and so we wanted to put the spotlight on those guys and honor them at halftime, and their parents and their family members, and then they got to go out and play in a really good game, and lots of opportunities for guys to make plays.
Yeah, absolutely. How many seniors do you have this year?
We have 19.
19,
yeah.
Wow. And there's a commitment that goes into that over the years of practice after school and in the off season in the summer, and weightlifting and stuff like that. Those kids really made a commitment.
Yeah, for sure. To be a part of the football program takes a ton of commitment, a ton of time, and sort of that mindset of being a part of something bigger than yourself.
Absolutely. Okay. So the postseason starts this week, and I guess this first game's a play-in game, right? They don't necessarily think of that as a playoff game. I just learned this the other day.
Well, it's sort of like a district tournament, and so this is the first round of the district tournament, and there are 7 teams in our district, and so the number 1 team has a bye, but everybody else is playing their game to see if they can continue on in the tournament.
Absolutely, and where you sit, it's a 4-5 matchup, which supposedly should be the best matchup of the weekend in the district. We shall see. This Rolla team, you're very familiar with them. I mean, you played them when you were playing Laker football, back in the day when you won state championship with the Lakers. This year was the first year Lakers didn't play them during the regular season in a long time, because you're no longer in the same conference.
Yeah, and they're an independent team, and so they've got conference or a schedule that takes them all over the place, and we're in a new conference. So, yeah, we've played them a couple times over the last few years. We played them in the regular season and then in districts, and so we're very familiar. They're familiar with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of those district battles, like last year, was a really good game, won by the Lakers. So we'll talk more about Rolla and the matchup in the playoffs Friday night when we come back on the COMC High School Football Coaches Show. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center offers pediatrics at 2 lake locations and 3 OBGYNs at the Osage Beach Clinic, offering same-day appointments. At COMC, our doors are open to everyone, whether you live at the lake or just here visiting. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission.
Hi, honey. It's your mom. I know you're probably working, but I just saw on the news that 3 people die in car crashes every day in Missouri. I just think about you driving around and it makes me so worried. So buckle your seatbelt, don't look at your phone, and don't speed. And I know you know this, but please always drive sober. You're a good kid, just be safe, okay? Mom loves you. Okay, bye.
Welcome back to the COMC High School Football Coaches Show. It is playoff time in high school football. Friday night, Camdenton Lakers on the road against a Rolla team. So Rolla finished with a pretty good record, 6-3. But you go and you look at their schedule, as we mentioned earlier, they're an independent. They're not in a conference this year, so they kind of schedule a lot of different teams. I'm pretty sure their schedule was not nearly as tough as your schedule in the CMAC conference. I mean, just about almost every team you played, at least half the teams were ranked in the top 10. Some were undefeated, conference champions. They didn't really do that, but they come out with a better record. Are there positives to play in a harder, tougher schedule like you do?
Yeah, I think there are definitely advantages to that, but there's also disadvantages. You know, it's a physical toll on you when you go in and play in really competitive teams that are very physical.
Yeah.
You know, you have to get through as healthy as you possibly can, and then you gotta take some lumps along the way, and we definitely have had that happened this year. We played some really good teams and came up, just short on several of them. But you also know that you can handle about any competition that you're going to face. So there's definitely advantages as you're going through.
Yeah, and the advantage maybe for Rolla, playing a little weaker schedule, coming out with more wins, is that it feels good to win, number one, but then it probably builds some confidence too, I'm guessing.
Yeah, winning is good. Winning is contagious, and they've done a great job. Not knowing, the teams, we don't have any common opponents right now, so it's. But I know that they've played up and played some good teams that were in the playoffs last year. So, I think that their schedule has prepared them, and they've been prepared through the Ozark Conference in the past years.
Yeah.
So we know that they're going to be ready, and they're a good football team, very junior heavy, and a bunch of those guys played as sophomores last year, so we know that they got tons of experience.
Wow, that also means they're going to be good next year too, probably. So looking at Rolla on tape, what is your defense going to be need to be ready for Friday?
Well, they're a good running team. They are a flex bone team, so they're very multiple in what they do. But it starts with the fullback and the quarterback. Those guys are really good runners, good decision makers, and then they've got a lot of speed at their receiver, and the quarterback is really a dangerous thrower as well. So we got to stop the run first, and then we know that they can push the ball down the field in the pass game. So we have to be sort of balanced, because they're much more balanced maybe than they were last year.
Yeah, kind of sound a little bit like maybe a Cap City team or something like that.
Yeah, very, very similar, different formation, but it's the same mindset. They come off the football and try to establish the line of scrimmage forward and really pound the fullback and the quarterback and see how they can get going on that.
Right, and that's the challenge on defense. What would you like to see your offense do this week?
Offensively, we got to take care of the football. We need to be able to manage those first downs. We've kind of talked about looking 30 feet ahead, 10 yards, in terms of we got to get the next first down. And sometimes that's running, sometimes that's passing, but making sure that we can control the tempo and the time of possession.
There you go. So it's playoff time. Good time of the year for high school football. Coach Barr Pitts on the road at Rolla Friday night. Lakers and Bulldogs. So that is your COMC High School Football Coaches Show for this week. We'll be here again next week talking with the Lakers and the Indians. This is brought to you by the great folks at Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. Also brought to you by Surdike Yamaha, MoDOT, Buckle Up, Phones Down, Hedges Scott Millard Funeral Homes, and Slumberland Furniture.